The WNBA has no idea what it's doing with Caitlin Clark. Can we all agree on that? They have no idea. It's a hostile league to Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA doesn't know what to do with Caitlin Clark. They're not defending her, they're not promoting her. They seem to want to spend as little time on her as they can. This has infuriated the Indiana Fever, and they're setting themselves up for a huge winter overhaul. And a new key member of the Indiana Fever's front staff did not mince words regarding how prospective Fever players should see Caitlin Clark. The WNBA should be afraid for what's to come to the court next season.
Welcome back. How do you build and sustain off of this Caitlin Clark buzz that we've been experiencing here? I mean, it's been a great year, but how do you make it even bigger and move on from this?
Yeah, I think that, we've seen that such a huge inflection of attention, and, her play, just the way she plays the game, I think that's going to be sustainable. There's clearly... there's something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. And our backcourt, I think, is probably going to be one of the best in the league between her and Kelsey. It's a dynamic duo right there. But I think we're going to work at it. We understand. I've been through this, not to this level, but we've had points where, incremental points where we've had, the tide lift a little bit and then go back down. So, we're going to work at making sure that we capture all the opportunities to make sure these fans are important to us, that we want to sustain the growth and the interest level in the franchise. I mean, this is about the Indiana Fever. Yes, we have a foundational player in Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston, and, we're going to continue to add to that. But I want this team to be the leader in the country, and a brand, an enduring brand, like Apple or something. I mean, we have a real opportunity here. So I think that's a goal for the future, is it's always about your players. I was raised by Donnie Walsh, and it's not about me, it's about our players, and I want to put them out front. These are dynamic women. They're tremendous people, and they're just tremendous basketball players. So we're going to look for ways to continue to grow that.
Now that the Indiana Fever's inaugural season has over, there will be considerable research and evaluation of how the organization may develop and become a title contender. While they were never considered serious WNBA title contenders, Indiana did take significant steps forward from previous seasons, and the main reason for this is Caitlin Clark. Clark started the WNBA this year and has quickly established herself as one of the league's top 5 players. However, the Fever will need to acquire crucial assets around her this summer if they want to compete with elite clubs in 2025. Kelly Krauskopf, Fever's president of basketball and business operations, gave a news conference on Tuesday morning. At one occasion, she conveyed a clear message regarding free agents perhaps playing with her top player.
You don't get 2 number 1 picks in the draft by having a great team and great years. You go through some peaks and valleys. So I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball.
Bob and Scott, what elements does this team need to take that next step, and how does free agency enter into the equation?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that we have 2 foundational players, probably 3. You get 2 rookies of the year in a row with a front court player in Leah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and then Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, I think that the veteran leadership that Kelsey was able to provide, we need to help her. We need to add to that. I spent a lot of years just trying to add experienced players around Tamika Catchings, because it was really, veterans that have been in the foxhole and have been together. Those are ways that elements of success. It's not a magic bullet. There's not a quick fix. But I do think this team needs a little bit more experience, probably some more size. And if you look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now, they're loaded with players who have been there. Well, I have high expectations, and I have high expectations first of myself, and then I have that of our staff and of our team. So number one, this is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you, where they're going to have everything they need to be successful. So if you have the right DNA and you love the game and you love to compete, then you're going to be a great fit, with this team. because we're about winning. I mean, this is a winning franchise. We've had constant success of winning and being in the playoffs. And, my plan is to return us to that level of consistency. And that takes commitment. That takes players that really are invested in being great players and being a great team. I mean, I'll start with Kelsey Mitchell. She was a player that was drafted in the last group that I was part of. So Pokey Chapman was our coach and GM. I went to see Kelsey play at USA Basketball in Santa Barbara at one of their workout camps, and I called Pokey and I said, I'm watching our draft pick right now. I mean, she's going to be a star, this player. I mean, she's going to be a dynamic guard for us for years to come. So, we wouldn't be where we are today without Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, she's clearly a very foundational piece. She's got 7 years of being in and out of this building. She went through a lot as we were preparing to be even better, as a better place to play, a new practice court, a new arena, all the remodels. I mean, Kelsey went through all of that, and she got better. She never put her head down. She kept playing hard and did everything she could. So she's extremely important to the success of the future. I used to tell our players, Caitlin Clark was 10 years old when we won our first championship. I say first because we're going to have another one at some point. But this is the moment where there's generational. It takes a generation sometimes to kind of get to that next level. And I used to joke around with our media relations guy that I can't wait for the day that people are just talking about women's basketball, just the game. Did you see the game last night? And that excites me because generationally I knew we were going to get there. It was going to happen. Something was going to happen, and I always had faith and was optimistic that it was going to happen. I just didn't know if I was still going to be around to see it, and that excites me. What I love is seeing.
She also compared Clark to Indiana Pacers player Tyrese Haliburton, who has developed as one of the NBA's top guards in the last 2 seasons. Krauskopf stated, "I see so many similarities between Caitlin Clark and Tyrese. Finding the perfect pieces around a point guard like her will make us really dangerous." Krauskopf is absolutely correct in claiming that adding a few important players around Clark will make the Fever an even more dangerous squad than they already are.
There's a lot of similarities. The good news is I do have a blueprint personally, because that's what I did around a player named Tamika Catchings. It was, Rookie of the Year herself, as well as, MVP. So I see so many similarities in Caitlin and Tyrese, primarily because they control the tempo of the game. And we want to play almost identical to the way the Pacers are playing, or maybe they want to play like we're playing. But either way, it's, finding those right fits around a point guard like her is going to make us awfully dangerous. And I'm looking forward to that challenge because, you're looking for the right types of players that can play that style of basketball around her. And it's uncanny how similar they both are. I would think that if you are a smart basketball player and you watch the way she plays, you would want to play with her. She, much like Tyrese Haliburton, she gets you the ball in places that you didn't even know you were open, because she passes to space, she finds openings and ways to free up other players. So, I look at just really how her and Kelsey work together and the efficiency of the offense because of the way that she plays the game. And I would think that would be a big draw. I plan on, I think it's an easy picture to paint, to free agents.
I think you guys know that Kelly Krauskopf has come back. I don't say she's come back. She's come across the street over to the Fever to help us move forward with this franchise at this unbelievable moment. And so Kelly will now be in charge of the business side and the basketball side, and she will be making the decisions, and she will be negotiating with Kelsey and her agents. And I can assure you we'll do everything we can to keep her.
Your biggest offseason priority is what?
Kelsey Mitchell.
Period. It's an easy answer.
And I tell you what else, guys. Looking at the 4 teams that are in the finals right now, we need a couple of more players. We need to look. We don't have as much talent as New York and Connecticut and Minnesota. They're a couple of years ahead of us. So we've got to go into free agency and look for a talented veteran that can take us to the next level.
skill set wise, what's on your mind when you go there, Lynn?
Well, we want people that can fit into our system. We're going to run. If you're going to play with Caitlin Clark, we're going to play up-tempo, fast basketball. But at the same time, I want you to be able to spread the floor, get to the rim, and then defend. We know that our defense was a little better, but it's not where it needs to be. The 4 teams that are in the Final Four are all the top 4 defensive teams. So that's an area that we've got to continue to address.
Now it's up to Krauskopf to lure those players to Indiana this offseason. But this time, she isn't doing it alone, as she has a new GM who will help her. The Indiana Fever just announced the appointment of Amber Cox as Chief Operations Officer and General Manager. Cox, a seasoned WNBA executive, will formally take over the post on October 28th, while Lynn Dunn, the current General Manager, will shift to a senior advisor role with Fever basketball. Cox offers a plethora of expertise from her stint as the Dallas Wings Chief Operating Officer, where she guided the team to record-breaking attendance and financial success. Cox's other professional highlights include heading revenue operations for the Connecticut Sun and overseeing the Phoenix Mercury during their 2 WNBA titles in 2007 and 2009. Her leadership is expected to strengthen the Fever's attempts to maintain their competitive and profitable franchise. I have known Amber for over 20 years and have watched her successfully build teams both on and off the court, commented Kelly Krauskopf, President of Business and Basketball Operations for the Fever, in a press statement. She brings a wide range of executive experience to our leadership team. In addition to her professional basketball experience, Cox has extensive experience in other areas of the sports industry. She oversaw business operations for the Kansas City Current during their inaugural NWSL season, where she focused on areas such as ticket sales, partnerships, local TV deals, player experience, branding, and digital strategies. She has also worked as Chief Marketing Officer for the MLS Houston Dynamo and the NWSL's Houston Dash, as well as Assistant Commissioner for Women's Basketball at the Big East Conference from 2014 to 2015. The hiring decision comes at a critical moment for the Fever, as the team aims to capitalize on its recent success, which includes a return to the playoffs for the first time in 8 years under Dunn's guidance and the signing of talented rookie Caitlin Clark. Cox expressed delight at the opportunity to help the Fever progress both on and off the floor. I am excited to be joining the Fever during this historic time in the WNBA, and I'm grateful to Kelly, Fever ownership, and Mel Raines for this opportunity, Cox told ESPN. From the top down, there is a commitment to invest in the Fever to ensure the team's continued growth and success, and I look forward to contributing to a world-class experience for our fans, as well as our players, both on and off the court. With the Fever on the rise, star player Clark, who has already established herself as one of the WNBA's brightest prospects, will undoubtedly take note of this front office move as the club sets itself for future success. Cox's leadership will surely assist to encourage players like Clark and boost the Fever's reputation in the league. And with some new players coming in, the Fever certainly can make some waves next season, don't you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.